we should discuss all the best qualities of a Vec Q and why you might play one.
And that's what I'm talking about. I look at the stars, I find the next tavern, I see the Vec there, and I wipe them out. And after, right, I gather their bones because they're my family, and I'm the only Vec left. Right, I'm thinking serious about this.
Welcome, fellow travelers. My name is SticQeno, and I'm joining Chibi and Vertec at the Golden Feather. Come on in, grab a seat, and let's share tales of adventure.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Golden Feather Tavern, where your hosts, Chibi and Vertec, discuss Ashes of Creation and important topics spoken about within the Ashes community. Every week, we invite you, the viewer, and a special guest to pull up a chair, grab a pint, and join the conversation with us. Today is the 14th of June, 2024, and we are on episode 211. This is Memorandum on Ashes, and we have fabulous traveling bard joining us once again, SticQeno, aka Q. How are you doing today?
Sir, what's up? I am feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Well, always happy to have you on here. Today you'll be the star of the show, as always.
As always.
Shucks.
And shucks. And Chibi, how are you doing today, and what do we have on tap for the day?
I am doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. We are back, as you can tell, from our long adventure going up to see family and coming back. And it's been a week, but very happy to be back and very happy to talk Ashes of Creation with you. That being said, the topics at hand include Zerging, PvE, Rogue conversations. A couple of these got necroed on the forums, and I was like, now's a good time to talk about them, as well as some other random topics, and who knows what chat might bring up. But of course, the most important topic today is our bard, actual bard, SticQeno.
See, so listen, you guys have the series going, like I was just saying. Listen, I think I might have inspired this for you guys, and all I want, Vertec, I was just saying this, all I want is like a 50% cut of the revenue. That's all I need.
Oh, that's a bargain. That's a bargain. Absolutely.
Yeah, I might even bring it down to 45 or 40%. Honestly,
so is that going to go all the way back to like when we first met you? Like going that far? Is there back pay? Because I gotta say, there's more bills than revenue. So there's more bills than revenue. So we'll send you a bill for the money due for the profit
I think
sharing.
there should be some retroactive pay. I think you guys give me the retroactive pay and you give me your spot in the Alpha 2 testing because you guys are both PI. So, I mean, listen, man, if honestly, anyone that's in PI, you guys are loaded. I know you guys are loaded. So, I mean, yeah.
Dirk
Man,
says,
if only I knew
generous,
that.
Q. Oh my gosh. He is the real life bard. For those that don't know, actually, and I kind of want to talk about this a little bit. What can you share about what you and I have been working on?
What can I share? So, about almost a year ago, I guess. Yeah, about a year ago, I decided it's kind of corny, but I mean, whatever, right? So, Ashes fans, we know that Ashes of Creation every Friday they do a fan Friday, and I was like, yo, I tweeted at them. I was like, dog, what can I do to be featured? I was like, you know what if I made an entire album? Would you guys love me enough to feature me on a fan Friday? You know what I'm saying? And they were like, yeah, let's hear it. I was like, word. So I was like, you know what? I went off and I created an entire album, and I hit up my good friend Chibi, and she is the narrator for the album. Now, I understand a lot of MMO players might not be into rap. It's completely fine. It's not what you think. I'm not telling the dwarves and the Tonar to drop the booty low. I'm not doing any of that. It's like conscious rap focused in the world of Vera, right? So I have the first song out. The first song of the album is called Divine Gateway. If you've been following Ashes, you should know what a Divine Gateway is, right? It's the portal that we enter as we come through Vera. So yeah, and that album is releasing on June 27th. And, yeah.
And for those that have not heard it yet, you can go bookmark this or put this in a tab somewhere and check it out because it's very fun working with SticQeno on it. So very excited for you guys to have everything. No Tolnar booty low. No Tolnar booty low. We need some back in Renke gangster.
Yeah, right? Can you imagine? East
Gonna be
Coast side of
positive.
the map versus like West Coast side of the map. It's gonna be some good stuff, you know?
Fantastic says that's a shame because my Tolnar got back. All right, well, on a different note, tell us about Memorandum. Memorandum, as you know, is a part of our topic title today. But what is Memorandum?
Oh man, I'm so glad that you asked. So, Memorandum is the guild that I created going into Ashes of Creation. And what specifically do you want to know about Memorandum?
Well, let's see. If you focus on any certain type of content, type like PvE, PvX, like things, and like maybe how big or small you're intending to be, and then anything else that kind of might set you apart from other guilds.
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess like the entire inception of it and just how it came to be is already different from other guilds. A lot of guilds right now in Ashes of Creation, dude, I remember being in Alpha 1 and I brought this up to a few of my guildies. Dude, like there were people like posting in the Ashes Discord. It's like, you must be playing 80 hours a week. You know, we're taking over this, that, and the third. So my whole like shtick on YouTube and even coming to Ashes of being a content creator for Ashes was that, you know, I'm going to be king of the MMO players. It's like a one-off of Luffy from One Piece, right? Guy who's like never been a pirate, knows nothing about being a pirate, but he's gonna go out there and do it. I don't have a lot of experience in the MMO genre, right? Like, I've played MMOs, but not a ton. And you know, Ashes is the first game that I want to really do that with. So I could have, and I've had people reach out to me and be like, hey, like, do you want to join our guild? You know, like, we love your content. You know, we would love to kind of have that partnership, X, Y, and Z. And it makes sense. Like on paper, it makes a ton of sense, because why would someone who's never ran a guild or have any experience guild leading choose to do that? Everyone I've talked to, every single last person, every creator, everyone, they're like, yo, Q, it's literally like a second job. It's a second job, right? How are you going to do that? How are you going to create? How are you going to do X, Y, and Z? But I just look at it like a challenge. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I don't feel like my story or my experience would be what I really want it to be if I just joined a guild. You know what I'm saying? It means so much more to me that I create something and there are people that come along with me, right? And I'm very, very open and honest with the people that join. I'm like, look, you know, I'm a creator. There's a lot of time that I don't have, that I understand that, you know, we're going to need in the guilds. I am looking for people to help me out with that. I don't have any experience, you know, leading, but I am willing to work and get better, right? So obviously, and on paper, it doesn't make sense. Why would I do this? But there are people that believe in the cause and, you know, what we're about, right? We honestly, the people that are here, man, like shout out to Fade, Shadow, you know, like Vice, like everyone, my guy Gank, like everyone, you know, like they just kind of want to clap stuff. And I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, you know, we're gonna take over. We're gonna do what needs to be done, and we're just happy to be here. And I really respect that, right? Because like just like growing up, seeing people play MMOs, seeing people be good at MMOs, have these great guilds, they have those people that they have that bond with, right? And I see how I'm forming that right now. So it's really cool. So right now, like we are a smaller guild, you know, but we are growing, right? Which is really, really cool.
I like that very much.
Thank you.
Smaller guild, fewer people. People underestimate you, right?
Yeah, and I have no doubt that I have no doubt that we'll grow. I mean, I don't want it to be like a, you know, 10,000 person guild or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I genuinely do like the smaller numbers because it's like we have that community feel. You know what I'm saying? So we feel much closer, right? But the main thing with Memorandum is just I want people who want to play Ashes. I know it's like, well, what do you mean? But no, I want people who are going to be playing like the way there have been so many creators in the Ashes space, like killing it. with no content, and I say this to you guys all the time, like you, Rive, Richie, like everyone that's just like consistently like dropping videos, even though there's no content. Though the players that are gonna play throughout the lulls, when because we're gonna have our version of a bad DLC. We're gonna have a period where it's dry. But I want the people who want to push through that, you know what I'm saying? Who are playing, who are like, you know what, I'm not gonna take a break. I'm gonna fight through it. I might not be playing a ton, but I'm still gonna be here, and we're still gonna make sure that we're effective as a team, right? So that's what I'm looking for, just that consistency.
He was going to be right there with us with his walking stick going, I remember back in the slow build up to Alpha 2. Oh, you kids don't know about that.
Man.
A 6-month drought of low patching. Dude. That's nothing.
And it's not right. And like that sounds funny, but like, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've played a lot of games where it's like, all right, I'm going to take a break. I'll come back when it's X, Y, and Z, when it's better. But I don't want to do that. I want to see something all the way through, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's why Ashes is so great for someone like me, at least, because it's like it's a fresh start. You're not hopping in like 3 DLCs or three expansions in. It's like you get to see it from its inception, and now it's like you have that choice to either stay with it or kind of get off.
So how's that going to feel for you, do you think? If you know how like you were just talking about jumping into a game like 3 expansions in, and you always have to look up the guides on, okay, how do I get caught up without missing good stuff? Like, what's the stuff I can skip to catch up to my friends? Because there's 900,000 hours worth of questing at this point. How's it going to feel shifting from doing that with all the popular games and all the big games to suddenly people can be looking up your guides and your videos on all the good stuff to get?
Oh man, true. I mean, dude, I have no idea, to be honest with you. Honestly, man, I really try not to even like look at it like that. I've said this for years since I've been here, but my biggest thing with just creating, I just want to aid the Ashes of Creation community, right? So it's like my videos have a different flavor than most of the creators in this space. I try to take, and this isn't a slight on anyone, but I purposely try to make my videos like, I don't want to say more unique, but I guess like a slightly more creative. Like, this is exactly why I'm creating an album. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, I'm like, chances are of someone else doing this are pretty low, right? So I just want to aid however I can in the community, right? And if that's making like great bard videos, which I plan on doing, right? I want to do full videos like that. I want you guys to own your tavern, and I want to show up and I want to perform. I want to do a bard build video, right? I genuinely want to be one of the best, if not the best bard in Vera, You
heard it here first. Number 1 bard, apparently leading the number 1 rogues. So it can be an interesting troop.
Interesting. Yeah. Definitely. I agree with that. In a good way. But yeah, aside from that, I was gonna wonder, I mean, clearly you've been asking for Bard for 2 months now.
Oh man.
I think every time I've watched your videos as we're leading up to the next live stream, you're like, Steve, can we please have Bard Showcase?
Yes.
Can we please have Bard Showcase?
Yeah.
What is one thing about Bard that you are most anticipating?
One thing about the bard that I'm anticipating, well, it's gonna sound like pretty dumb, but I really just want to see like what their buffs are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually about to do a video on this, right? But I really want to see how viable they are. So what I mean by that is, we know that Ashes has a rock, paper, scissors, right? So you have your rock, you have your paper, you have your scissors. And we know that's tank, that's cleric, and then that is damage, right? So where does Bard fit in there, right? And we know it's support, but we have a Bard. Now, can groups perform well without a Bard? Or are groups always going to need a Bard? So it's kind of like this like weird Twilight Zone type of thing. So that's what I really want to see. Where do they fit in? How viable are they? You can't do a freaking raid, or you can't do a raid, you can't do a dungeon without a tank, right? So it's like, is that the same case for the Bard? And I don't think it will be, but that's just my thought process.
All I can say is I could have used you during the no testing because I kept running out of mana. So
Oh
having a
man,
bard there would have been so helpful.
there's nothing I can do about it. We need to talk to Steven.
I know. Come on, Steven.
He's withholding it from us.
We need a bard, please.
Unacceptable.
Also, real quick, thank you, Synderix and Phoenix Fire, for the resubs. We really appreciate that. Cheers
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
huzzah. Welcome,
Cheers.
Think Nasty, to the patronship or the adventureship. I think patrons for subscribers, adventures for followers. So either way, welcome in.
Welcome to the tavern. Pull up a chair.
But honestly, that's one thing that a lot of people have been asking me lately, and I'm sure you're also growing in, like, antsy about it, about the official content creator program.
Oh yeah.
Now, I think this is a slight like conversation slash theory craft, but I think if you are an official content creator, you get access to the alpha, I think, because you're an official content creator. Am I
Right.
wrong? I'm gonna look that up. But wouldn't that be cool? If it's not the case, wouldn't it be cool? And also, yes, Skink, I am
It
a
would
pirate.
make sense. It really would. If once they announce the content creator thing, it would make sense if they gave them access to whatever testing sessions are up after that, you know?
I think
Yeah.
I think that is the most logical thing, right? Because we know that they want select people, right? We all know Maggie's like, if you're making consistent content, right? And so like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? 1 month, 2 months, a year? Like, what are we getting at? So
What are
I
we
think
looking at there? Yeah.
if they deem you, I don't want to say like if they deem you worthy, but if they deem you worthy, I think they're going to do everything in their power to make sure you have everything you need to continue to invest in their product. You get what I'm saying? Because from their point of view, and this is, I'm not saying they're using us, but in a way, like it's a business relationship. They like that you're representing their product, so they want to do something great for you. Sorry.
No, sorry, there was a hype train incoming. Thank
Yeah,
you,
hype train
Kink,
just
for
rolled on in.
the sub. Appreciate that. Welcome
Thank
to being a
you.
patron.
Cheers.
That's what I was doing. But yeah, online it says access to all private NDA testing and public testing phases for their official content creator program.
Yeah.
So I remembered correctly.
Yeah.
It is a symbiotic relationship. And to your point, a lot of content creators need the game out to be able to make their content, kind of thing, right? If you make guides and there's no game to make a guide on,
Yeah,
you
it'd be
can't make the
awkward.
guides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awkward to be
Yeah.
a content creator and not being able to get in the testing.
To actually
that's
play.
going on. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Like so, content for today. We're gonna watch Q play. So let's go ahead and pull up his stream real quick, and I'll do some live commentary. We'll analyze it after, and I'll put the video up on YouTube. Ready, set, go.
There you go. Oh my gosh. But okay, what race are you going to play? Since they're asking me if I'm playing Pyre, have you chosen which race you're going to play?
So again, I'm kind of a tryhard in this aspect. I want to see if we're going to have some racial buffs. And I'm pretty sure we will. I'm pretty sure I read it a while ago.
I think we are, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to see what's going to be the best for the bard. And I could see either like a human or an elf, right? Right now, I'm set on Empyrean. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if there's another listen, I'll do anything besides a Vec. I'm just not, it's not happening, dude. It's just not happening. Sorry. I love you. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Right. And then next to the dwarves, they can kick rocks too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I knew there was something wrong with you. I just couldn't quite pinpoint it until today, until this moment right here, right now. Oh my gosh. I'm heartbroken.
All jokes aside, right, if they do give a racial buff to the Vec for a bard, it's like, all right, then like I'll probably bite the bullet because I want to be a great bard that bad. Right.
What if Vec is the best bard?
So that's what I'm saying, right? So I will put, don't clip this. I will put my stereotypes aside. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it. You know, if you want to say my racism, right, against the Vec, I'll put it aside to be the best.
Clip it, please.
No. Can you imagine? But no, honestly, it's like,
Oh,
whatever is the best. You know what I'm saying? Whatever is the best. Whatever is gonna help me be more optimal. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I think like we're all gonna have alts in the future and everything, right? But
Yeah.
at my first character, I want them to be like perfect, right? I want
Yeah.
the racial buffs. I want as much damage as I can get. I want to do everything.
Min-max it.
Yeah, I as much as possible, because chances are that's going to be the main character that I'm just playing throughout my time in Ashes. I'm sure I'll have alts, but you know, I think when you have alts, you still have like that one main
Yeah.
character that you play the most. You know,
Yeah.
so and I want that character to be that.
I could see that, absolutely.
So
Yeah, that's basically going to be me too. First character is going to be the one. I mean, I'm going to be speed running the leveling. I'm going to be doing
Yep.
all the things with him. It's going to be the most min maxed. That's going to be my Vertec tank.
Yep.
That's it. And then the characters
Yeah.
after, the ones I'm going to mess around with and toy with, and they're going to be my fun characters. The ones I take
Yeah.
my time leveling, read every line of text. You know,
There you go.
hunt down all the shiny things ever, just because.
Wipe out all the Vic. Yep. You know, I'm gonna do that too.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
There's a
You make me
PvP
sad.
match happening in front of me.
Not sad for the Vec, but sad for you. Sad for you, my
For
friend.
me,
Oh no.
brother, I'm playing a flute. There's no way you feel threatened by me.
No, I didn't say threatened. I said sad. Sad. Your heart will not be full of Vecchian love.
Oh man.
Oh gosh. You guys are funny. All right. Well, on that note, we have a couple of discussion themes we can go with. And as our bard for the week, I would like you to choose the one we start with. So oh no, wait, hold up. We have a devil's advocate.
Oh my
You
gosh.
gotta do it. Also, Grim, hi, nice to see you. Welcome
Grim
in. And
Liberty. Hello.
thank you for the resub. Appreciate that. Cheers, huzzah.
Mhm.
Trying to get in the habit of saying huzzah instead of cheers. I just thought it would be more in brand. So, devil's advocate. We should discuss all the best qualities of a Vec Q and why you might play one.
Hi.
Oh man.
So
So
I remember. Oops, sorry. Go ahead for a sec.
go ahead. Continue as you were.
I remember during. You guys remember the first cleric showcase we got? The cleric showcase. It was the day and
Yeah,
night
the one that was in
showcase.
like the graveyard.
Yep. And I remember that was the same stream that we got. So that was November of 2022. And Steven was playing a Vec, and you know, he was as a cleric, and he was
Yeah.
talking about constellations and how the Vec have a relationship, you know, like with the stars. So
Yeah.
that would be that. The main reason would be if the Vec have bard, right, like bard racial abilities, but the second reason would be the constellation system, right? Because I don't know if like they get like some type of buff or like whatever it may, some type of connection from the stars. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was pretty cool, right? But yeah,
So what I'm hearing is you would be best as a bard playing Vec, because not only can you do the whole fancy reading stars thing, but that might actually help you even more being a bard, because you can buff other people since you've read the stars, you know what their horoscope is.
and that's
You can-
exactly what I was. Yeah, go for it for a sec. Yeah, shoot.
You
Yeah,
can
go.
you can use the constellations to help you travel the land, go from tavern to tavern, telling your stories.
And that's what I'm talking about. I look at the stars, I find the next tavern, I see the Vec there, and I wipe them out. And after,
Oh no.
right, I gather their bones because they're my family, and I'm the only Vec left. Right, I'm thinking serious about this, serious, and that's why I would want to play a Vec. You know, it's serious stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It's serious stuff, guys. Why are we laughing? This is serious business.
Over here trying to gather the bones of all his brethren here.
I put them
Make
under
sure
the
that,
stars. Guys, come on. We listen. We know. We talked to Steven earlier on the phone, don't I? He told us the Vec have this special relationship with the stars. We put the bones under the star. Guys, come on, man.
Q's
Chat doesn't
over
really-
here trying to make sure that Vec can live for all of his own eternity.
That's it. I'll start rapping over their bones. Guys, listen, this is great stuff. This was going to be in the Summoner Showcase. You know what? I'm going to stop while I'm ahead because you guys think I'm crazy, but I'm actually onto something.
If you're watching this later, please put this at the beginning. This is 2 gold.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Question
I'm
and
so
then
conflicted.
go to him killing his own kid. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh my gosh, man. I might name my character Itachi for those of you that know, right? But yeah.
I mean, I'm so torn because I feel bad for all the Vex that you try to eliminate. I feel bad because you are so confused about what love of the Vekian race is. But also that sounds like an amazing villain arc beginning.
Listen.
And I would love to see what superhero team would rise up and combat that crazy force of nature.
Too soon.
And honestly, Vertex, it's you, because then you and I would be the last ones, and then we have to fight. And then you take me down. You take me out of my misery because I'm a Vec. Come on, big brain. And now it's all about you.
So what I'm getting is the corrupted king is you as a Vec.
Oh man, yeah, that works.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
The new corrupted king has begun.
Yeah, Q's Bill and Arc started at the Golden Feather Tavern. Exactly. When he rolled a Vec. No.
I promise you, everybody, we've done the research. We've checked out our sources. It did not source from the mead. The mead does not make you crazy. Okay?
Nope. Backstab's the last one standing, basically. All right. On that note, how about you choose our discussion theme?
Yeah.
Should we talk about rogues? Should we talk about PvE and Zerging? Should we talk about random shit?
So, can we just go in order? Because I feel like that's actually solid. Is that, or do we have to? Are we just focusing on one?
We can go in. Do you want to start with rogues then?
Yeah,
Okay.
and only because I feel like we can talk about rogues for forever. But I feel like rogue. I've been saying this for a while. I think that the bard will be the hypest showcase, right? Because we haven't seen like a bard in a long time. I think the summoner will be the coolest, but I really do think the rogue is probably one of the more anticipated ones because there are a lot of rogues and people really want to know what Intrepid has planned for the rogue, you know?
Okay, yeah. All right, well then on that point, how would you design a rogue stealth or invisibility?
So we know that's going to be different from the ranger currently, right? And the ranger has camouflage. I think rogues need full invisibility. I think that just should be their thing, right? But I think we just have to have a system that doesn't allow it to be broken. You know what I'm saying? That they have to be the master sneakers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Sorry, I had to add a tally mark because I'm keeping track of how many spins we have to do, and we're back up to 7 spins now.
Oh man!
Thank you guys for the subscriptions.
Tuesday spin day. Ready, set, go.
If not before then. We'll see. But
so yeah, I think. I mean. As much as I don't think a lot of classes should really have like invisibility, stealthy stuff, I think they've done a really cool thing with the camouflage for Ranger, so I don't want to yank that away.
Yeah.
But I also think that rogues need to have like a full true stealth invisibility thing. I think as long as they can't forever just escape combat and re-loop that over and over and over for like 10 minutes, like go escape combat, go stealth, wait like 30 seconds, come back, stab somebody, run around for like 5 seconds and escape combat again. Like they need to have a longer cooldown on the combat escape stealth.
Yeah.
If they put that in. If they don't put that in, I'll be even happier because, you know, they're sneaky until they, you know, get into combat and then they're in combat. So then they have to get out of combat like anybody else to take a special action like that. I'd be okay with that. But yeah, I think they really need to have their full invisibility just to really get that roguey sneaky thing.
Yeah, and I think that each class has something special that they do, right? So that's another reason that I back that up. I don't plan on playing a rogue, right? That's probably like my least favorite class, or like least preferred class to play, but I do think each class should be fun. I remember watching the Ranger showcase, and I was like, this is exciting for people who want to be mobile, right? And it's crazy because we know the rogue is more mobile than the Ranger, which is insane, right? So
Yeah.
that's another thing,
Ranger's bananas.
Oh my gosh. Some of the things chat has said, I really enjoy this. So Gink says, Assassin for the win. We get in perfect greater advanced invis. Raka says, maybe only slightly visible footsteps. I kind of like that. Shadow says, Fupo is best known rogue in Ashes. With the master sneakers. Planandor says, rogue just doing nothing personal, kid, on cooldown.
Yeah.
Lloyd says, I like rogue true invis, but as a cooldown and not at, like a toggle. And I agree with that. I should have a cooldown. And then having a cooldown makes sense, and especially to me, I agree with that, because either when you go into invis, you have, I don't know, maybe like a finite amount of time, or whenever you do an action, it pulls you out of invis, just like in other games, because you've now alerted your action essentially.
Yeah.
But combat stealth cooldown, how about once every 10 minutes or so? Smoke bomb that allows to escape combat and go back invis.
I mean, honestly, I'd be even okay with like 5 minutes, just not like some games that will leave nameless that have like a 15-second cooldown or something like that. And you could just keep doing it over and over, and it's in the actual like rotation. Like as soon as this comes off cooldown, pop it and do a backstab.
Yeah.
Like, that type of thing. But it's so long of a cooldown that you can't really work it into a rotation per se.
Yeah.
But so here's like a little bit of a follow-up now. Now, what do you think about the rogue's invisibility or stealth? Because it just is invisible. The actual skill is called stealth, right? So stealth, including sound dampening and also not leaving footprints. So that like the person who's paying attention might see a rogue's footprints like running around behind a tree somewhere.
Yeah. So, and this is what I opened with. I think the system just can't be broken. That's literally it. It can't be broken. So if there's no way for anyone to notice you, and I don't think it's bad if certain classes don't notice the rogue, but I know Steven has mentioned this before, that the mage with the arcane eye might be able to see through that, right? Because back to the whole like rock, paper, scissors, some classes are just naturally going to be better than other classes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's okay in some cases, but I don't think that should be the case universally. Right, where just no one can see you across the board, right? No one can hear you, because if that's the case, then just if no one can see you, no one can hear you, and it's a toggle, then like, what are we talking about? Everyone's gonna be a rogue,
Yeah. Honestly, I think that it's one of those things where I liked where in like World of Warcraft, for example, if you are a higher level than the rogue, you can still see him.
Yeah.
But if you're the same level or lower, you had a harder time seeing him. I do like having the audible sound when somebody's going invis, because that immediately put you on alert. But the footprints idea is interesting. I could see there being like a crafting reason where like it dampens your sound, like wearing leather boots would dampen your sound compared to wearing boots with like a harder sole, for example. But I'm not sure exactly.
Like I said, dude, I think if the system, I'm sorry for a sec, I didn't mean to jump in. If the system, if it's not broken, if there's no way for anyone to notice you or hear you or any of that, then that it shouldn't be in the game. That's just my opinion. There needs to be something there, some type of indication, right? So
because I think like my view on it was going to be that I think making noise should be dampened, but maybe not fully erased. And maybe if they wanted to go that complicated with it, yeah, sure, wearing lighter and lighter gear will make you quieter and quieter, right? Stealth will just be a modifier to that, and gear is gonna be also a modifier. But also like footprints, when you're in stealth, they would not stay around as long, but they would still exist, you know? Like instead of hanging out for like 30 seconds or 30 steps before they start disappearing, then it would be say 10 or 15, maybe 10 seconds or 10 steps before they start disappearing, because you're stepping lighter and you're trying to be quiet.
Yeah. I like what Fupo said. Could make it a hard trade-off for stealth and viz as well, and make it so that major damage skills is what you have to lose to get that. It's a bigger trade-off. Because the other trade-off is you use lighter armor and you're not as like impervious to damage, you know. But I don't know. There's so much ideas. Yeah, sorry. Guild Umbra is a friend of ours. He likes to come in and troll from time to time. He's been following Ashes for a while. But I really like the shiny kind of hard to see invis that they have
with
going
the
on.
camouflage. Is that what you mean for the ranger?
No. So the ranger, you kind of have the camouflage, but like as you get closer, you're supposed to be able to see them. But the rogue, it doesn't matter if you're close or not. It's still that shiny like camouflage.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Planendorf says, what are the things that make real invis not frustrating for those of you who are real invis stands? I played the stealth class on Planet Side 2, and my poor class just took tilt nerfs 24/7, even though it was terrible. That's a good question.
Yeah, I was actually just about to bring that up, and I'll actually put this in the
Can you pull it
little message on the screen there? Yeah.
We need to start using that again. I like that feature so much.
I'll let you go first there, Q, if you'd like. If not, I already kind of know what I'm going to say.
I have no experience with rogues again, and I just like a cop out. I only know
the leader of rogues,
right? I only know like what I've seen in WoW and the things that we're currently discussing and what I think makes sense, right? So like in my head, it just, and I know it sounds like a cop out, but like it just can't be broken. There needs to be some indicator there, right? But that's all I can really give you for that, because I don't have that personal experience with it.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'll say, at least from my point of view, the things that make it interesting and not frustrating are when it's, Q says it the most succinctly and whatever possible, just don't make it broken. There has to be a balance, right? So if somebody is going to be approaching me invisible and try to get the drop on me, there should be a counterbalance. Like they're going to have some burst damage because they have surprise, they have the tactics behind them, they have the planning of how exactly am I going to approach the situation. I can see them having big burst damage, but it needs to taper off really fast. Like they have like 5 seconds of burst damage, so they have like a 3 or 4 skill pop, and then they have a long cooldown.
Right.
And their damage is going to quickly kind of sink down for a while, and then they're going to spike again, and it's going to be really high damage, and then it's going to sink down, like very spiky damage. That way, if you can survive that initial attack, then so be it. Then you're good. Then if they try to get away, and the other controls and whatnot that we were talking about here with, sound isn't fully eliminated, it's just quieted down, and footsteps don't completely go away, but maybe they don't last as long. So if you're in the woods, maybe they can sneak away and hide in a bush somewhere, and they'll be fine. But if you're running through sand, like, sorry, buddy, you shouldn't have attacked me in the desert, because your feet prints are gonna stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
But there's the extra planning.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you put that message up?
Yeah, it was up there like 25 seconds.
Oh, okay. It's so slow. Okay.
Do you want me to put it up again?
No, it's okay. It's okay. So what are the things that make real invis not frustrating? I think being able to have, I agree with what who was it? Gink said. Grim said, I don't mind invis so long as the smart visual clues are there, and noise from armored movement, it still clues you in. As long as you're able to have obvious what do you call that? Just cues from your their environmental cues, then I feel like that helps kind of mitigate. Because if I can, especially with like the directional audio that games have gotten into so far, you can tell when somebody is over here versus like back behind you, right, with your headset. So as long as I'm able to have that environmental cue and kind of be able to hone in on where that sound is coming from, I think that it is much nicer and also adds really nicely to the sound design, right? Using the in-game sound. I mean, think of how many games you actually don't realize you turn the sound off in the game and just listen to music and you're doing just fine. I like the idea of needing the in-game sounds to clue you into these things. And if you had them on and you were actively listening to them, it would actually be like meaningful instead of just background noise.
It's immersive in that way too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Dig it.
I have to scroll up here for a second. Somebody asked a rogue question, and we don't have the thing where we can just like take your stuff aside anymore.
Yeah, sadly.
But I believe it may have. It came from Oracle. Oracle says, rogue question: should spy networks be rogue exclusive? Should you have to be a rogue to join a spy network?
I don't think that's a bad idea in some cases. I think if we're going for immersion, I think there are some cases where like that is a thing. That would be a thing, personally.
Oh my gosh.
My take on it is basically what everyone says there. Like, it shouldn't be necessarily limited by class, but I think certain classes should get bonuses for certain types of organizations. Like a rogue would get bonus experience or bonus whatever progression, speed in.
I hear that.
In like a thieves guild or something, but like clerics would get a bonus in like the religious nodes, that type of thing,
Yeah.
Although I think Steven said that clerics aren't going to be religion based, which is it's going to be a very hard concept to wrap the brain around. But just saying, yeah, if there were organizations tied to each race and as far as getting a bonus for them, I think that would be a great way to go about it, because you'd naturally see more rogues in the thieves guild, right?
Yeah, fair. I could see like a thieves guild thing, but also, there's the whole idea of like a spy network of being anybody, right? It could be anybody that's like a spy. I think of like all the movies that we watch where somebody's going undercover. The point of being undercover is to not be obvious. If you have a rogue and only rogues can be in the spy network, you're going to be like, more than likely that person's in the spy network. But like when it's like everybody, it's a lot harder to guess who's in the spy network. But I love what Planendorf said. Everyone's like, don't stop me from betraying my friends. Sheesh.
Yeah. I saw that one. I got more of a chuckle out of Unfadeless, though. Q do be looking like an Ashes snow globe right now.
Oh yeah, I was laughing at that earlier. Can't wait to see the Thieves Guild social org. Right. Same. Agreed on that one.
Yeah, don't stop me from betraying my friends. Yeah, it's pretty much how it reads. Yeah.
I also like the like paladins being a good spy. All right.
Yeah, the priestly priest is just a spy for their god.
Yeah. So this is a new discussion thread because the other one was a necro discussion thread on rogue single dagger versus dual dagger. And this comes from Arnis Panika, who says, so I've read the wiki page on this, but I couldn't still quite understand. Will there be a possibility to go single dagger for rogues, or dual dagger will be default? Maybe something like dual dagger has better physical attack, but with single dagger cooldowns of your blows last shorter, so you can spam more backstabs, an example out of the air. I come from an era of single daggers only for rogues, and something like WoW's dual wielding daggers looked always very alien to me. Therefore, just trying to look for some like other options, some hope. What are your thoughts?
I personally kind of like the dual dagger in WoW. That's just me though. I do agree with what this person's saying though, where it's like both options could have their pros and cons, right?
Right.
And I feel like knowing Steven, I feel like we probably could get something like that, just because the Ashes, they cover all of their bases, you know.
Yeah.
But I personally, like, if I were to go a rogue, I'm going to Will, hands down.
Yeah. Sorry. Planendorf, don't lie to us like that.
Le gasp.
You know what? I'm just gonna do this just to be nice. Oh wait, I
Yeah,
can't.
and-
Not on this one.
You know, I'll be honest, I can't recall having played a game that wasn't like a single player, very themed to a character, like not just a class, but themed to a character, where it wasn't to like dual dagger. Every
Yeah.
rogue I experienced outside of like the single player themed character type stuff always has like dual dagger rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even double like short sword, even for that matter.
Yeah.
And for those of you that haven't seen it, I suggest you go back and watch back when they were showing what they thought was the fighter showcase. It was more of like a weapon showcase.
Say that. Yeah, go.
It is so crazy. It's so fast. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my lord, that's terrifying. But also,
And he switches to a dagger too. Yeah, he switches to a dagger.
Yeah. What were you gonna say on that? Because I want to hear your thoughts.
I was just gonna bring that up, right? Just because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Is it a single? I don't remember if it's a single or I'm pretty.
It was.
Is it?
She was a double. He was
it?
dual wielding.
I think you might be
fast.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And his block is holding the daggers like this, I think.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's in the combat showcase, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, was that 2022 as well? Yeah.
Totally not trying to make it so that Vertec and I have to spin more wheels. But you're
Thank
welcome.
you, Chibi, for giving Planendorf a sub. Much
now
appreciated.
he can cheers with us. Now he can cheers with us.
Fire.
Which, by the way, I think our cheer emote is broken because it looks like this. Or on my end, I don't know. On Chibi Bree, I can actually see it, but on TGF Tavern, it's just a blank white image. That's all that's
Oh.
there.
Interesting. Yeah,
So
I'm
I don't
seeing
know what
it
happened.
on 3 different screens right now.
Okay. So it's working. I thought it was broken. All I see is just a blank white square. Just nothing there. I'm glad you guys can see it. That's all that matters.
10 bits and we wipe out the Vec. Sorry.
What? No.
Nothing. All right, 11. Make it 11. Fine.
No.
Gosh.
Wait, what? Ooh,
Oh my gosh.
what I miss?
Anyway, no. Just ignore him. Ignore him. The Becker going nowhere. Okay. Becker going. You know what? This brings me to
Oh.
Zerging.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Yes.
is that what I missed? Was he talking more Vec must be eliminated?
No.
Exterminate, eliminate,
This is
destroy.
Vertec, would I lie to you about
Got some Dr.
Vec? You know,
Q storyline starting here.
Come on.
Beautiful segue. Thank you. I spun it off of you.
Guys, listen, we talked about this chat. They're acting like we didn't script this. We scripted this whole thing. I'm not really out of my mind. I don't want to wipe out the Vec.
We practiced it all yesterday. Actually, that was the rehearsal stream.
Duh.
So, are you? So, okay. This is coming from Careful Wealth, from Reddit, and it's a post about them seeing a meme talking about griefing and ashes of creation for Alpha 2, and talking about like how people are mentioning Zerging content so no one else can do it. And some people even said that other games people would pay real life money to the griefers to get access to the content.
Losers.
Right? That sounds crazy. While they found the onslaught of comments amusing, they thought they would ask for full release or even Alpha 2. Should this be a big concern? So first off, is this a concern for you with Alpha 2? Are you worried about Zerging?
It's so, I feel like there are so many questions in the Ashes community where it's like, it's so tough to answer because we haven't gotten in there yet, right? From what we know, if you're going to Zerg, like it almost needs to be planned in advance, again, from what we know, right? We know that a metro node, a scientific or academic metro node will give you teleportation, right? But if you don't have that, it's like, how are you getting to these points as quick as you want to? Are you just running with 40 people every single time you sign on? Because we know that's just not realistic. So that's not going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I think you need to be worried if there is a group of people here and an activity is happening next to you, because that's going to happen. I wholeheartedly believe that. But if we're talking about something's happening in Illyrium and then you're in the Riverlands, like, dude, like, you shouldn't be whining. No one's coming to take your 10 pieces of wood. I don't think that's gonna, I don't think that's gonna be a big issue. But
Yeah.
it's contingent upon us actually getting in there. We know it takes about an hour on foot to get from the bottom to the top of the continent, and slightly under an hour to get, or I think it's an hour on mount and a slightly over an hour on foot, right, to get to the bottom to the top of the continent. So I think whenever people zerg, from my understanding, people do these things because something is in it for them, whether that be fun, whether that be loot or whatever. I don't think MMO players want to go out of their way to make people have a bad time. Now, let me explain. Do people go out of their way to make people have a bad time if they're PKing them? Yes, because that's fun, but it's low barrier. I'm not traveling 30 minutes to troll. I don't think anyone is doing. There are some people that are dedicated that are like, they want to troll Asmon or whatever, but I don't think people are just doing that for your day-to-day players. I just don't see that happening. So I think if it's a low barrier troll, they're going to do that. And if they want you to have a bad time, that's going to happen. But if someone travels 30 minutes, they have to travel 30 minutes back. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at that.
Yeah. Real quick, someone was asking if we could define it, and then follow up from that was from Planendorf asking if there's a good versus bad Zerg. So according to just a few resources, Zerging is a tactic where multiple players work together to overwhelm an opponent with numbers to ensure victory. The term can also refer to the group of players themselves, who may be called Zerglings, kind of in a derogatory manner. And additionally, there was a large uncoordinated force that just death balls over things. So it can be both coordinated and uncoordinated. It depends on, I think, the purpose. Like, for example, the coordinated group is like purposefully keeping people out of content, and the uncoordinated group is just a ball of chaos.
So my universal definition of Zerg is basically just a large group of people or units doing something. And by large group, I mean larger than should be necessary for that task. Like if you're going to do a dungeon run, you need 8 people. If you're going to Zerg a dungeon run, it's going to be like 16 to 32 people. Like there's no need for that many people. So you're just overwhelming it purely with numbers. So if it's an overwhelming number of things, it doesn't matter if it's coordinated or not. Like it's a giant Zerg of just things attacking, coordinated or not. If you're a solo person, I would consider 8 people. Like, sure, a Zerg of 8 people came and jumped one person. Why not? We'll call it that. Because all you really need is one person taking someone else by surprise to gank them, right? 2 people is if you really want to seal the deal, and 3 is if you want them to have no choice but to expire before they notice that you're there. And 8 is just ridiculously unnecessary.
Yeah.
So expanding that out to a raid or a dungeon, like same thing.
I mean, Gank says, it won't bother me unless they're like we're a party in an open world dungeon and that huge guild zergs the entire thing, NPCs wiping groups and all with massive numbers. Like I could see that being an issue, and then keeping people out of that, that would be frustrating, to be sure.
And I don't know, Fupo. Saying that the large uncoordinated will not last in AOC because of the no personal loot, because it's still going to be round robin capable, right? So it's still going to spread it out.
I'm going to be honest. Go ahead, go for it, Jimmy. No, after you, I insist.
Lloyd says, imagine the world chat after that. I was like, I could see that being the cause for a giant world PvP, like a moment.
So I think, right, like, again, they're being organized and unorganized. I think if people are 40 deep and again, there's an event happening next to you, I think people are going to be like, you know what? Hey, let's just go do it. Right. I don't even think people are going to care about the loot, to be honest with you. Because some people, it's the whole like, some people just want to watch the world burn. And like, I think that's exactly what that is. But that's not going to happen all of the time. Right? I think people care more about their progress than they do trolling others. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's look at it this way, though. Like, really, really, really think about every system. So a single system in a vacuum can work perfectly, absolutely wonderfully. It's amazing. It's the absolute ideal, perfectly shiny thing. Once you start introducing everything else and you combine everything into a giant monolithic idea of something, and then you ask how one specific portion of it's going to function, you really have to start looking at all the little bits and pieces. So let's just say a Zerg running into and trying to control a raid. Let's just start with that right there. What does that impact? Well, what feeds into that? So we have world PvP, because it's all open, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have bosses on timers. If it gets slain, it's slain. That's it. Like, the rest of the server no longer has access to that boss until it respawns. The rest of the entire server, everybody on it, no matter where they are, what they're trying to do, they will not have access to that boss until it respawns. We don't know the respawn timers yet. It could be an hour, it could be a day. It could be a random time, who knows? So controlling a raid not only makes sure that everybody in that Zerg that we're theorizing is going to be holding down an entire raid, everybody in that Zerg are the only ones who have access to that loot this time, this cooldown for that boss timer, right? They're guaranteed to have a chance. Literally, the rest of the server has no chance. So there's that. Right. Now, if they steamroll through one raid because they can, and they can prevent anybody else from doing it, and then move on to the next raid, and then move on to the next raid, and on the way, hey, there's a caravan. Let's go ahead and knock it out while we're going across the map. Hey, there's another caravan. Let's go ahead and take that out while we're going across the map. They could literally just steamroll through everything if there's not certain timer controls in place. Now, how much would it stink also if somebody does happen to get the moons aligning and they're able to do a run through a raid, and they can only do like the first and the fifth and the seventh boss in there because the timers are different for all the bosses in a raid. They finally got the stars to align and they can finally get into this raid without being bothered. So there's got to almost be like a synchronized timer to make it feel like unsatisfactory of an experience, right? So at that point, it's going to end up being a little bit more predictable on when they can come back. Take it all over again. So it's possible. Is it likely? That's where everything else is going to come into play. But because there's a limited number of bosses out there in the world and a limited number of experiences you can do, especially if you're trying to get, I don't know, materials into the economy.
Yeah.
That's where you get them from, is the raid. So it's an economic control factor too, as well as power.
I personally haven't experienced a Zerg, so I'm not really sure how that's going to play out in Ashes. I'm hoping that it's not going to be a problem, but with it being open world content, there is a potential. I feel like we will see, as we go. But that being said, we are actually now 5 minutes out, and I think we should go ahead and just try to wrap it up because we've been live a little bit over an hour. It's funny how detailed you can get into a conversation. But SticQeno,
yo,
what is your favorite takeaway
from today? That we're going to be wiping out the Vic. No, it's not. No. Favorite takeaway from today?
Womp, womp. Strike that. Rewind.
So you mean from our conversation that we had today, yeah?
Yeah.
I think that we talked about the guild. We talked about Rogue. I really did enjoy the Zerg aspect of it, only because there's so many different takes on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is literally a topic for discussion, right? It's a podcast discussion. We could have 10 people on and have 10 different opinions on Zerging. So
Yeah.
that's something that I don't want to say I'm excited, because no one's excited to get zerged, especially if you're on the end of where you're getting beat up. But I'm excited to experience it in Ashes, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen on both ends. Like, I'm going to be doing the zerging, and then I'm going to be the one getting zerged, right? And I think that's just how it's going to be for everyone, especially if you're part of a guild, you know. So, and again, what Vertec was saying, you know, just fighting for raid bosses, you're gonna have to make those hard decisions, and just, all right, like, there's 15 of you here, but there's, you know, 50 of us, you know, bye. So
Yeah, that's fair. My takeaway is that Q should be a Vec because of all the buffs that he's gonna have, and not wipe out the other Vecs.
this is
and also Rogue should have dual wielding, and since Q is the bard leader of the rogues, I just imagine all of these rogues following their Vec bard leader.
See, now listen to what you're saying. Listen to how unserious this sounds. Why would rogues want a bard leader? This doesn't even sound serious. No, never.
Because you move in the shadows.
As a bard, want to be singing in the shadows, walking around singing tunes.
Do you know?
As a Vec.
Do you know how magic works? It's all about misdirection. It's all about misdirection.
Yep.
If this hand's doing this other hand can do whatever it wants.
Well, both hands are going to be killing. So, I mean, yeah, but yeah, nah, I mean, honestly, guys, all jokes aside, I think I have to cancel my 1-year subscription to your channel. Yeah, I'm just kind of really disappointed here.
But I can't take that back now. Wow. Rude.
My goodness.
You know, I can't support this. I just, it's unbearable.
Well, then Planendorf, I will say to what you said earlier, yes, please do that. If he's gonna remove his sub, I say we make sure that he can only be a Vec rogue.
Oh my god.
Q is now race locked.
Can you imagine? Oh man. That'd be
just
funny.
The entire account is nothing but Vec.
Log into my account and I'm like clicking on Hyperion. It's just Vec with braids, Vec with the fro, Vec with, so that I can only be a Vec. It'd be hilarious.
If we were to save up the money and like PI level money, and the only things we got out of it for Q was PI, and he's race locked to Vec. Can that be a thing? Can we do that?
I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play.
Wow. Wow. Rude. Worth it?
Yep.
Okay,
exactly.
All jokes aside, please check out SticQeno on the links that I sent above. And for those of you watching on YouTube later, they are below in the description for you, and also for you listening to us on Spotify, because yes, we got back on Spotify again. It took us a little while, but they recently released a video for Spotify, and I was debating how far back, but once we hit the video, I was like, all right, I'll start it from episode 200. So from 200 till now, you can see our stuff on Spotify. Again, you might see all of our old stuff from the older, like, what, pre-Alpha 1 was the last time we uploaded to Spotify.
Oh yeah. I think the episodes we uploaded was like in the teens or something.
Yeah.
Can I just think that's so fire. Seriously, that I feel like I tell you guys this every single time I come on, but no troll. Seriously, man, you guys have been killing it. All seriousness, the dedication, the love that you guys have for the community is literally insane. You literally just said pre-Alpha 1. Oh my gosh, that's literally. I remember playing Alpha 1 and I had no thought of being a creator for Ashes, and you guys were already making content. Like, no, that's huge. Seriously. So like, round of applause, hearts in chat for Golden Feather, man. You guys have killed. Seriously, you guys kill it. Even though you know Vertec, you're a Vec, we got love for you, brother. All seriousness. Seriously, please keep it up. Community.
I can survive this. I can survive this. My heart's been broken more than this once.
All right, well, thank you. I think it means a lot having you on again, and honestly being a part of this community, being able to share the community thoughts. You know, it's a really, really big part of why we started this podcast, to share content creators, guilds, people of the community, and you know, just share our perspectives and give you places to check out. But I think what Vertec was about to say, on that note, we have...
Oh, no,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a very special raid that we would like to do today. And that is over to Loreforge HQ, because they are about to announce, or they are announcing their guild today.
So everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for contributing to the chat and the conversation and giving us your time. And I say give because you did not spend it. You gave it over freely, and spending means that we could possibly give it back to you, which we can't. So, I hope it was worth it. If it was, we're so happy you were here. Q, thank you again for stopping in. You're always a treasure.
Yes.
Always a treasure. Until I start finding
love hearing your
mysterious Vec
thoughts.
bodies, in which case I know who to suspect. I know exactly.
Thank you for having me, homies. I really appreciate it.
All right,
And
everybody.
loved having everybody in the community giving us your thoughts and your opinions. We would not be here without you.
Nope. We'd have no reason to be. We would not be able to be. So we love you for it. Okay, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.